Hi, my name is Tanya and welcome to Sweet Tea. This is my first ever live video, but let me tell you guys, I just had to do it tonight. On a personal note, I have been kind of locked up in my house, going through some things. I just lost my father, but this weekend I found some time to watch some mindless television, and that was Sister Wives. So I'm gonna give you guys my honest review. I've been watching this since day one, and let me tell y'all something about Sister Wives. Sister Wives has definitely has an audience of its own. If you've been watching it from day one, you are hooked like I am. And I mean, there's just no helping me. But we're going to get into that right after my intro video, you guys. Again, this is my first ever live. I've never done this before. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And we're going to talk about Sister Wives, and in particular, Miss Meri Brown, because Meri has some questions to answer. I have some thoughts on Miss Meri Brown. Let's just say that. Let's see if I can get this intro video to play, you guys. And while it's playing, go ahead and like my video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel because we're going to get real messy here in the suite. Since the beginning of times, beauty salons and barbershops have had a special place in the hearts of the industry professionals and the patrons alike. We can all remember trips to the shop, special moments made, conversations had, and lessons learned. From politics to pop culture, the latest gossip, love and relationships, and social movements. It's all talked about. Lifelong friendships are created, networks are built, ideas are shared, and politicians are made or broken. Our power is great. Our reach is wide. This is the place where we all shine, from the beginning to the end of times. Let's keep the conversation alive. Join me in my suite from your suite, and let's talk about the tea. Okay, you guys, did y'all like that intro video? I worked really, really hard to get that together, and I hope that it kind of summarizes what this channel is all about. I am a hairstylist of 28 years now, and I have a suite, and in my suite we talk about all kind of things, and one of the things that I am obsessed with, and so are several of my clients, is the show Sister Wives. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Sister Wives. Let's see if I can find some background music for this bad boy to make this like really, really. Let's see, y'all. Y'all, I can't see. That's the other thing. I don't really have very good vision. Let's put a little background music in the background so that way it's not so. So y'all can hear a little something. I don't know if y'all hear that or not. Anyways, I put the background music on. Anyways, we don't need that. I'm just going to talk, okay? In particular, I want to talk about Miss Meri Brown. Meri Brown is the first wife of the four wives married to Kody Brown on TLC's hit show Sister Wives. That it's now, and I believe it's 21st season, maybe 20th season. I'm not sure, but I've been watching since day one. Meri Brown married Kody Brown and became the first of his four wives when I think she was about 20 years old. Meri grew up in a polygamous household. Her father had several wives. She had a whole bunch of sisters and brothers. Kody, on the other hand, did not get introduced to polygamy until later on in life. And at that time, his dad was actually exploring the religion. And Kody's dad ended up marrying his second wife, which happened to be Janelle's mom. Janelle is Kody's second wife. Let's talk about this first wife, Meri Brown. And I know that so many people watch this show. This isn't like, so my other videos that I've done were on people from Atlanta Housewives or Potomac House. Housewives of Potomac, and I love Real Housewives. But I also love Sister Wives. Sister Wives is so messy. It's so good. If y'all don't watch Sister Wives, you need to start because it is good, good messy. Y'all, I apologize for this video quality. I'm actually at my mom's house, and I'm like trying my best to just set this up and set up a little something, something so I can go ahead and record this video because let me tell y'all, Kody is messy. Meri is messy. And Meri is full of shit, if you ask me. Personally, I believe Meri is full of crap. Meri Brown is full of crap. I said it. Meri Brown is full of crap. Meri Brown is just as manipulative as Kody Brown and just as manipulative as Robin Brown. And I'm going to tell you why. Tell you exactly why I think so. Like I said before, Meri Brown grew up in polygamy. She, if anyone, knew the rules. She was the perfect first wife to head the family because she kind of knew what to expect. It was her culture, something she grew up in. Kody was a newbie. Kody was a young man with raging hormones, I'm sure, stepping into a world of polygamy that he really knew nothing about, that his dad was introducing him to, where the girls were all virgins and hormones running wild, and everybody was ready to get married. And here comes Kody with his six-pack abs, as Janelle says, with his, or as Kody says, with his six-pack abs, his great hair, he loved to dance, and most importantly, he wasn't related to everybody else at the church or in the culture. So that made Kody a hot commodity for these women, a very hot commodity. And let's be honest, Kody was not bad looking as a younger man. He still isn't bad looking. His attitude's just horrible. So that kind of makes him ugly on the inside. And you know how that goes. Beauty's only skin deep. So you're only as pretty on the outside as you are on the inside. And Kody, you know, that's questionable. But like I was saying, Meri Brown grew up in polygamy. Meri Brown knew the rules of polygamy. Meri Brown was kind of like the family expert on polygamy until Christine came along, who was the third wife. So Meri revealed in the tell-all, and if you're like me and you're a fan, you've been watching for a while, you're already aware of the fact that Kody's second wife was Meri's former sister-in-law. You heard that right. Kody's second wife, Janelle, is Meri's former sister-in-law. So she and Meri's brother were married before Kody and Meri were married. So imagine she's the sister-in-law. She's a little bit older than Meri. She's married to her brother. The marriage doesn't last very long. They don't have any children. They end up divorcing. And Meri still is hanging out with the family. Meri's hanging out with the family. Meri's over there at family functions. Not Meri, Janelle is still hanging out with the family. And that happens sometimes in households. Sometimes you divorce the husband and keep the in-laws, you know? So in this case, that's kind of what happened. Janelle divorced the husband, but she kept the in-laws. So she still remained friends with Meri's mom and her dad, and she was there at family functions. And Kody starts dating Meri. I keep saying Meri. I mean Janelle. Janelle became a family friend. Janelle was there at family functions, and Janelle was hanging out with Meri's family. And Janelle met Kody when he started dating Meri. And according to what Meri said on the tell-all last night, she said that Janelle told her once that when she saw Kody, she wanted her sons to have the same build as Kody. And coincidentally, I think she ended up having 5 sons with Kody and 1 daughter. So that's interesting that she knew she was going to have boys. Maybe she just wanted boys. I'm not sure. But they all some little mini-me's of Kody and Janelle's walking around. I tell you that. Kody has some strong genes. But so she sees Kody. She thinks she wants her sons to have that build, which makes me wonder, what the heck did Meri's brother look like? I mean, you know, Meri ain't that cute herself. So I can only imagine She's got gorgeous eyes. Don't get me wrong. She's got beautiful eyes, but let's be honest, Meri is she's no looker. She's definitely no looker, and her personality isn't that great either, in my opinion. So when I say that Meri is full of crap, what I want to talk about in particular is Meri's this notion or this narrative that Meri wants to create now, that she was somehow silenced during their marriage, that she was somehow afraid to speak up, that she was somehow so mistreated and so abused and so misused that she had Stockholm syndrome or something, and she fell in love with her abuser and I didn't even realize she was being abused. To me, that's BS. I call BS on that. I'm gonna tell you why. Like I said before, Meri was the only one of the original three, Kody, Meri, and Janelle, that was raised in polygamy. She knew the rules. If we're going to be honest, this is a religion where they have sisters that marry the same husband. You could have a mother, you could have a daughter get married, the mother lose her husband, and then she could marry the daughter's husband. I mean, let's just be honest. That's what happens in polygamy, in particular, sister wives. On this show, we've seen where they've had friends who have had two sisters that were wives. So for Janelle, the former sister-in-law, to want to marry Kody, who was her former sister-in-law's new husband, that's not necessarily, it's strange to us in the monogamous world, but that's not necessarily strange to them in the polygamy world. So for Meri to now act as if she was so offended by it, or how dare Janelle want to marry her husband, like, come on, Meri. Like, that's not nothing new to you. It's nothing new to you. Like, you know sisters who have the same husband. You know? So for your sister, your former sister-in-law to want to marry your current husband, that's not that strange to you in the sister wives in the polygamy world. So I don't know why now she's acting as if that's just the worst thing since the worst thing that Janelle could have ever done to her. I call BS on that. Okay. That's number one. So just the request that Janelle wanted to marry him, that's not strange. That's not unusual in the polygamy world. Number two, Meri has said over and over again, and we saw it as an example when the family took in Robyn and her children. I say tuck in because that's what they did. When they took on Robyn and her children, we saw and we heard the family portray to us, the public, that all the wives had the right to say yes or to say no, to approve the marriage or to not approve of the marriage. And if any wife had a problem with the marriage, then there would be no marriage, right? So if that's the case, then why would Meri now, 30 years later, 40 years later, be complaining about the fact that she gave Janelle permission to marry her husband? She was the only wife to be considered at that time. So, and Kody was the husband. So if Meri wasn't okay with it, I don't think it could have happened, right? And she said they prayed about it and all this. And so why now, 40 years later, does she want to make herself the victim as if Janelle, how dare Janelle for wanting to marry Kody? I don't get it. I call BS on that. Okay, so that's the second thing I call BS on. We saw, I know in the first couple of seasons, it definitely felt like Meri was the head wife. Meri's the one in control. Meri kind of had final decisions on things, and Meri's opinions seemed to weigh more than the other wives. Okay, we saw where they moved from even when they moved from Utah to Las Vegas, Meri was very much vocal in that move. She very much so had a say. Her voice was not silenced. Her voice was not low. Her voice was very much so loud, assertive, and heard. Okay. And when Meri says something, everybody listens. So this whole "I will not be silenced" thing, I don't know where she's getting that from. I never got out of Sister Wives. I never took from the show that Meri was silenced in any way at all. So I don't know where she's painting this, why she's painting this narrative, and why so many fans are buying into it. I understand the dislike for Cody, or the disdain for Cody and Robin, because let's be honest, like Robin definitely was okay with Cody spending the time with her that he was spending with her, and she was okay with the way that the other wives felt about them feeling abandoned, neglected, isolated, all those things. Robin, at least we didn't see her complaining about it on the show. You know, even if she said she told Cody, "Get your butt over there," he didn't go. You didn't lock the door and kick him out. You know what I'm saying? So how much did you really advocate for their relationship? So Robin is a BSer as well. Don't get me wrong. But I believe that Meri is the ultimate BSer, and Meri's own vindictive behavior backfired in her face and destroyed the family from the inside. And I'm gonna tell you why. So we saw again, Meri was no shy pushover when they moved to Vegas. She was not. Meri had no problem standing up for herself and advocating for her big house and her wet bar. And I was in a group online. We're talking about this on Facebook, a Sister Wives group, and I said something about that, and somebody was like, "But Meri paid for her own wet bar, and Meri paid for her own this." Meri didn't even have a job when they moved to Vegas. They all upped and moved to Vegas, and they were getting their real estate license and all of that, trying to make money and buy these houses. So there was, at that time, I believe it was all pooled money. I mean, of course, I'm not on the inside, but I don't remember Meri having a job outside of Sister Wives when they moved to Vegas. So to say that Meri paid for her own wet bar, Meri paid for her own this, it came out the family's money, at the family pool that she absolutely contributed to, but it wasn't like she had her own source of income and paid for her own wet bar, her own 5-bedroom house when she had one child. And the argument then, and the crying then, and her victimization then was, I shouldn't have to get a smaller house because I only have one child. Well, if you're thinking about the good of the whole family, you should. You have one child living in your home. And if it really is the family money and it's all pooled and it's all for the greater good of the family, why do you need 5 bedrooms? Why do you need this wet bar that you're going to entertain at? And who was over there? Jen? Maybe her new Vegas friends? It wasn't the family. I mean, I know she liked to host Christmas and make the pajamas and all that, but shit, I mean, she could have rented an Airbnb for that. I mean, I know she wanted to live on the same street too, and I get that. But the point I'm trying to make is Meri is no pushover. Meri had no problems advocating for herself and getting that wet bar that she wanted. No problems at all. When they did My Sister Wives Closet, Janelle didn't want to do it. Christine wasn't really that into it. Meri supported Robin. They got My Sister Wives Closet. At one point, she wanted to go back to school, and she said she was scared to tell Robin because she didn't want Robin to be upset that she wouldn't have time to work on My Sister Wives Closet. But she still did tell her. It wasn't like that stopped her from telling her she wanted to go back to school. She still found the courage and the voice to say it. She was not silenced in that situation. I just don't get it. I don't understand when she keeps repeating, "I will not be silenced." When have you ever been silenced? When have you ever been silenced? You were silent about the catfish situation. She was definitely silent about that. She don't want them to talk about that. And if you ask me, in my opinion, I believe that that's really how she's silenced. I believe that that's the manipulation. I believe that there is more to that catfish story than what she has admitted to, than what she will ever admit to. And I believe that Cody and everybody else in that family knows the scoop on the catfish story. And she knows that they know the scoop on the catfish story. And if she gets to talking and being too ugly, she's afraid they're going to spill her beans. They're gonna reveal the banana picture. You know the picture with her with the banana in her mouth talking to the catfish. They're going to reveal those voice messages. They're all online. She sure wasn't silent then when she was sending those voice messages to the catfish. She wasn't silent then. And then even with that, she wants to blame that entire situation on Cody. The entire situation. When in reality, you divorced Cody because you thought you were going to get with that catfish. I agree with Cody on that. He said that she was going to leave my ass. Y'all remember that scene? She was going to leave my ass. And she was. But the catfish turned out to be a woman. She couldn't leave him because it turned out to be a woman, and she was so embarrassed, right? And the catfish was blackmailing her and threatening to release those pictures and release those voicemails. So what did she do? She played victim. And her own child knew she was playing victim, and that caused a big rift in their relationship. And that's what put Meri in the imbalance in the relationship. That's what created the imbalance of power in the relationship. Meri's own emotional affair with the catfish. And people will say, well, look how Cody was treating her. He was spending all his time with Robin. Christine didn't go have an emotional affair with a catfish. Janelle didn't go have an emotional affair with a catfish. Meri did. And now Meri wants to play victim. Now, I will say this, and this was the most honest I have seen Meri be ever. The most authentic I have ever seen her be on a tell-all is when she got real about her infidelity. Her infertility. When Meri got real about her infertility, and she spoke about how devastating it had to have been to watch these women have children with her husband over and over and over again while she struggled. That was a real moment, and that was the realest I have ever seen or ever heard Meri Brown be in this 20 seasons of Sister Wives. And that is what made her human. That's what humanized her. And I can totally understand where she's coming from. That had to be pure emotional torture. When you are the first wife, you have this unspoken power or this unspoken role in the family because you are the first wife. And not just the first wife, but you are the first wife and the one that grew up in polygamy before Christine. So you were you had a natural leadership role in the relationship or in the marriage, in the family. So when you don't have the first child, Janelle comes in, your sister-in-law, that was just screwing your brother 3 years prior, comes in, who is so hot for your husband that she can't even hide it. She didn't ask to be in your family. She's so hot for your husband physically that she can't even hide it. She comes up pregnant. Then he marries Christine, and she comes up pregnant. That had to be devastating for Meri. And then she finally gets pregnant with Mariah. And after that, she has several more miscarriages and several more times of having to hear that the other wives are pregnant while she was struggling. I can only imagine what that did to her emotionally. But at that point, and I understand that divorce isn't that easy, but when you realize and you recognize within yourself that being in that relationship, being in the family with these women who are procreating with your husband while you struggle, is causing you to be so bitter that you are mistreating your sister wives, you needed to make a decision at that point to either, one, get over it, get over yourself, control your emotions, or get the F out the marriage. Because it's not fair to stay there and torture them. and to make them feel guilty for their blessings of children. It's not fair. It's not that they felt, and I think they, not that they felt guilty about their kids, but I know they felt some type of way about them being able to so easily procreate and have children, and Meri struggling. Okay. I can only imagine. So she's human, and the human in her struggled with that. And that's totally understandable. Totally understandable. But the human in her needs to also admit that because of that in particular, it made her resentful, it made her bitter, and it made her mistreat her sister wives and their children. Additionally, it also made her happy and excited about the new fertile fourth wife, Robin Brown. Because finally, at that point, Christine had stopped having children. Janelle had also shut down the shop. She wasn't having any more kids. And they've said several times before that when a woman is pregnant in the family, or when she's just had a baby, she gets a lot more attention from Cody. From him spending the night over there, to him tending to the baby, all those things, they get much more attention. So imagine she had to sit through 12 additional births other than her own. 12 times of him spending more time with another wife. 12 times of him having a paternity break or paternity leave with another wife. 12 times. While she only got to enjoy that attention once. So what's the best way to get back at these women who you think have been insensitive and unempathetic to your situation? You find him a fourth, younger, fertile wife, so that those two sister wives of yours can now experience the heartache that you've experienced. And you keep that relationship a secret, along with Cody and along with Robin, because you think it's special. And you like having that secret between the three of you guys. You keep it a secret, and you allow him time to get hooked on Robin, to develop feelings for Robin, before you even let your sister wives know that it's happening. But she's a victim. She will not be silenced anymore. You're right, Meri. Like, get over yourself. Get over yourself. I just don't find her to be a kind person. I don't. And I felt like everybody else, people will jump down your back if you say something bad about Meri Brown. But Meri Brown is a snake. She has done some very snakish, slithery, slimy things. She has. And we're going to get on Cody and Robin too. But Meri got beat at her own game, because Meri thought that she could manipulate the situation and hook Cody up or support the relationship between Cody and Robin. There's definitely discrepancies between if she hooked them up or if they met on their own or whatever the case was, but she definitely, admittedly, encouraged and kept secret the courtship from her sister wives. She did that. She admitted that with her own mouth. Okay? That's not speculation. She admitted that. That being said, that was sneaky. It was backhanded and backstabbing. And Robin had 3 kids. And at the time, Janelle and Cody, I think, were the only ones working outside the home. Christine was working part-time. Meri was in school and working part-time. You go hook him up with a woman with 3 kids in debt that y'all have to now pay off together. If Meri had her own money, guess what? That should have came out of it, because this was your pick. You pay her debt off. Not Janelle, who's busting her butt. Not Christine, who's at home with all those kids. Let Meri pay it off. You picked her, you pay it. How about that? And then you divorced your husband so that she could marry him. They could adopt her kids, because that was so special to you. The same kids that you don't even talk to anymore. That's BS. I call BS on that. Meri divorced Cody because she wanted the freedom to get with that catfish. And if that catfish had been a man instead of a woman, Meri would have been out of here a long time ago. It would have been a whole different plot to Sister Wives. You can believe that. I just don't buy it. I'm not fooled by Meri at all. I'm not fooled by her at all. At all. And I don't see how so many people are. Like, do y'all really believe that Meri is the victim here? Do y'all really believe that Meri Brown is the victim? I don't get it. And so when you think about, okay, with the last 10 years of the marriage, with no intimacy and little to no attention from Cody, that was still a choice that she made. She made the choice to stay there. And she did so because once she was caught with the catfish, then she was in debt to Cody in the relationship. Once she was caught with the catfish, all of a sudden she was the guilty party. And so she had to stay around long enough to try to get back in his good graces. And he made her pay for it. He absolutely made her pay for it with her time, her heart, and most cruelly, her money. He did. But at the same time, you brought Robin in with her 3 kids. So you pay for it. You pay for them. Not Janelle, not Christine. Meri and Cody support Robin and her 3 kids. And then when she had Solomon and Ari, oh, Meri's crying and acting like she's so close to them, and oh, she wants to be the godmother, and she's gonna be this and that to those kids. You're right, Meri. You didn't like those kids. That was manipulation too. You were trying to manipulate Robin and Cody into thinking that you were so into those children so that you could get in their good graces or remain in their good graces. And they played the crap out of you. They played you at their own game. They played you at your own game. They let you think that you had this wonderful relationship with them. They were trying to pacify Meri. Everybody's walking on eggshells around Meri. They said that in the tell-all. Cody said that. Janelle has said that. Christine has said that. And now Robin has confirmed that the little tit for tat that Meri and Cody were having during Cody's apology to Meri was typical of their relationship. That's just how they act. That's just how they deal with each other. We've seen it. I've seen it. I could never be friends with Meri. Not the way she has been on this show. Maybe when she gets healed, but the way she is on this show, I feel like she's a scorned woman with every right to be because of the infertility. That would make anybody have emotional issues. That could drive anybody crazy. So I can give her a pass for that. But what I can't give her a pass for is sticking around and making everybody else's life hell because of her inability to conceive. She should have just left. She should have left. And went and found her a monogamous relationship where somebody who didn't want any more kids. That's the only solution. But to torture them and not be woman enough now to apologize for it is some BS. To torture them, not apologize for it, and make yourself the victim is some BS. As adults, we have to take some kind of accountability for our own actions and our own decisions and our own choices. And I just don't see that with Meri at all. I see no accountability. Even when Sukiana was asking her about the early days of her and Cody and Janelle's family, when Cody referred to she and Janelle having these tits for tats and arguing and about the dishes and laundry or whatever, Meri tried to downplay it. She tried to downplay it. I mean, that was so long ago, I don't remember. Well, Janelle sure as hell remembers. Cody sure as hell remembers. It's funny how the person who was doing the abusing doesn't remember the abuse. And now all of a sudden she wants to create a narrative that she was the one that was abused. Please, Meri. Like, I don't know if the Sister Wives, I mean, I know I like this show. Sister Wives community, the people who like it really love it. But God, y'all, we cannot. And I'm not trying to call us all gullible. And I know that I'm an empathetic person. I know that I am. And I feel for Meri in the infertility. But I don't believe for 1 second that Meri was an unwilling victim. The last 10 years of the marriage were hell, but Meri willingly stayed. And she stayed because she was in debt to Cody, and she didn't want to be the bad guy, and she didn't want the marriage to split up because of the catfish. That was her emotional affair. She divorced Cody because she wanted to get with the catfish, and she blamed it on Robin's kids. That's some BS. Hell, Robin, really and truly, if Robin's ex-husband was signing over his rights, Robin could have signed hers over too. And Cody and Meri could have adopted the kids. Meri didn't have to divorce Cody to allow him to marry Robin so he could adopt her kids. That's some BS. And if Robin was so sure at that time about the family and them being together and it being destined for them to be together, she should have had a problem with signing over her rights and allowing Meri and Cody to adopt her children. What's the difference? Y'all all the mamas, right? They're all taking care of them, right? They're all of a sudden responsible for them financially, right? These are all their siblings suddenly, right? So why can't Meri adopt your children? Why she have to divorce her husband for you to be able to? That's some BS. It's a lot of stuff in this show that has really just been bullcrap. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to keep watching it. I'm going to keep watching the BS, but it's still BS nonetheless, okay? And I know that if anybody sees this video, it's going to be a lot of people out there really mad about it. And if you are, that's fine too. Just pop off in the comments. Leave me a comment. Let's talk about it. Argue with me. Fuss with me. Let's talk about it. Or let's not fuss. Let's just discuss. How about that? And don't get me, y'all, keep it coming. Subscribe to the channel because I promise you I got something for Janelle. I got a video on Christine. I have a video on Robin. Video for Cody. All of them. We're going to talk about all of them. And like I said, I've been watching since day one. Watched every show. And I got a lot to say about it. And I just think it's time that we just call Meri out on her bull crap. If y'all agree with me, like this video. Let me know in the comments. If you think Meri is manipulative and is playing victim, let me know. If you disagree with me, by all means, let me know. Everybody's welcome here. And y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get off of this thing and end this video if I can figure out how to do so. And I look forward to reading all the comments, the ones that agree and the ones that don't. And I promise y'all next video will be so much better. I'll be at my home or in my studio and I can give you guys a better quality video. But I just had to come on here and go live and talk to you guys about this because I just couldn't hold it in any longer. Until next time, thank you guys for joining me here at Sweet Tea, and I hope to see you guys again. From my sweet to your sweet. Good night, beautiful people. Bye.